What's going on, guys? So I'm back with another Sunday watch list. As always, let's get started with SPY, right? So I'm gonna start off from the weekly time frame. You guys could see that we rejected this 451.40 level, and like this 450 level, right? We failed to close above 450. So that 450 level is gonna be on full watch again. We are currently below it, and as long as we're below it, it could continue to be used as a rejection level. So that's going to be the key level to watch. If we can get back above it, I'm going to be using it as my support for the week, as long as we hold above it. For a push back into 451 and really above 451, we have nothing but room into 452 and this 453, my bad, 453 and 454. So that's if we are able to hold above it, right? If we are not, then if we continue to fail that level, if we continue to fail that level, I'm going to be using it as a reject level at 450 for a potential move back down into Friday's low at 448.5. That's a level to pay attention to. Below 448.5, it got room to 447.5. That's the next key level. And below that, literally has nothing but room to really like down here, right? This 446 and 445 level. This 444 level is a key level as well. So I don't know if we'll pull back down that low, but let's say if we do, I am going to be using that as a bounce level, as it was a previous supply that could turn to demand. And we do kind of have like a gap to fill right here. But we have to see, right? These we are approaching key levels. We're a bit extended, but for the most part, those are the levels that I am going to pay attention to. Mainly like that 450 level, see how we react. Potential some for some potential shorts around these areas, back down to 447, 445s. So that's the game plan on SPY, just pretty simple overall, right? Above 451.4, nothing but room to 454. So going to Qs now. So notice how QQ got rejected pretty aggressively off of this level right here, right? This is the level that I was paying attention to last week. We got rejected aggressively off of that. If I go to the 5 minute time frame, you guys will see on Friday. We rejected perfectly off of that weekly level, right? We rejected perfectly off of it. And notice how so the next key level is gonna be like this, or the 4 hour time frame real quick. This is definitely gonna be a level to pay attention to, like this zone right here. It was previous resistance, supply. We broke above it. Now we could use that as demand. Um, Other than that, this 380 level is a key level as well. Notice how pre-market on Friday, we came and we retested it multiple times, right? Once, twice, three times. And, we were able to hold it above it during the market open. Towards the end of the day, we closed below it. So now that can be used as resistance again. This could be like a head and shoulders if that 380 gets rejected. I'm going to show you guys what that would look like. Something like this, right? And if it rejects that 380, that's a potential play. But if we show strength and open up above 380, I'm going to use that 380 as a support, similar to SPY's level, and potentially target the recent highs. Above that 383, that's going to be another key level to watch. Above that 382.84, we have nothing but room back into 386 and potentially like 390s, right? So those are levels to the upside. To the downside, if we were to get weak, pay attention to Friday's low at 378. Below 378, we literally have nothing but room into basically like 375, I'd say. Like this trying to get the exact level right. So probably like this here. Like that 375 level. So you have resistance over here, resistance over here. So yeah, below that 378, we could have room back to 375. Below 375, room down to these levels, which we could potentially bounce at. But for the most part, we still got to be a little bit patient. As far as economic data, right? We don't have nothing major this week. But as far as earnings, we do have Tesla reporting on the 19th, Netflix reporting on the 19th, Bank of America reporting on the 18th, and then some of the bigger names are next week on the 27th, Amazon on the 3rd, Apple, Meta on the 26th, Charles Schwab on the 18th, and Microsoft on the 25th. So that's about next week. So next week's going to be a pretty big week too. Other than that, let's get into the individual tickers. I'm liking the setups on the individual tickers a little bit more than I'm liking the setups on SPY and QQQ right now. So keeping it simple with Microsoft, you guys can see that this 343 level was a big resistance, right? We broke above it and we even gapped above it. So there was no retest of that 343 level. So that's definitely a possibility. We'd come back and retest that 343. If that 343 holds as support, I will be looking to go long back into this 349 and then all-time highs, right? All-time highs is here at 452.3. So that's definitely a level to pay attention to on Microsoft for a bounce. It's literally or if things get really weak, if we get back below that 343, we can use that as a rejection level to go short into 340s. So this is an either or setup. That's why I really, really like Microsoft. Microsoft is on top. Watch me. Just keep it simple like that, right? Nothing too crazy. Amazon. Amazon looks great. We just recently broke out of this supply zone. Amazon has been ranging from 131 all the way to 127. You guys can see we broke above the 131, 132 area, and we completely went up to the next supply zone, which was up here. You guys could see how this was a previous demand zone from back here as it holds up. For the 4 hour, you guys will see it a lot more clear. See how we bounce in this area and then reject off this area. Notice how we rejected that area on Friday. So that is a level to pay attention to. These are the two levels I'm paying attention to. Anything in between, not too interested. But if we retest 132, 131, we'll be looking for bounces. If we continue to fail up here, we'll continue to look for rejects or the break and retest above that level, right? Just keep it simple, break and retest of key levels. Above that, then we have room up to really I'd wait for this 138 level since that is like kind of like the top of the zone, right? Above that though, we really have nothing but room back into like 140s and 144. But main watch though is that retest of 132. So if we get that, that's what I'd like on Amazon. Next one up, this one I really, really like as well because notice how Netflix has a huge gap fill above 458, right? From 458 all the way up to 506. It's definitely gonna take time to fill, right? And notice how we rejected off of that on Friday. 458, we rejected aggressively from the top of that gap. And we came back down to this 437.82. And there's a trend line right here, right? We have one touch, two touches. So this third touch of this trend line is going to be very, very important, right? We want to see if this level holds up or if it fails. If this level fails, I'm going to be looking for the break and retest to go short into 431. Now, that 431 level is an area where I think is going to be a great area to pick up Netflix if it does get down there, right? Look how we bounce off of it multiple times already, that 431, 432 area. And that is going to be a great level to pick it up off of. But if this trend line holds, this is also another great area. So it's a either or setup near this trend line for Netflix to get picked back to the upside so we can catch the gap fill back up, right? And on the weekly, right, the 9 and 200 have crossed. It's looking pretty strong. We're on a strong uptrend. So that's what I'll be looking for Netflix, those two key levels, the trend line at 438 or this bounce level at 431, 430, yeah, that 431.36. Keep it simple overall. That's what I'm watching on Netflix. NVIDIA looks okay as well. If I go to the daily chart, you guys will see we have a gap fill back to this 440 level, basically. Let's say 440, right? 439.59. We have a gap fill down there. If this breaks back below 450, which was Friday's low, this could definitely push back down there. And that is an area where that could retest for a bounce, right? This area over here could retest for a bounce around this area. So that is definitely a potential play in the works, right? Coin was really, really strong. You guys can see how we broke out on the weekly out of this inverse head and shoulders. If it continues to show strength, I'll be looking for a break and retest of 115.52 for a push back into 132. Yeah, I know this is a lot of setups, but I'm going to narrow it down to the one that looks the best pre-market, right? So you're going to have to update it. Not too interested in any bounces here. If I was, I'd probably be like this level right here, this 90 to 88. But for the most part, yeah, that's gonna be a level of retest. And then PayPal for small accounts. PayPal actually doesn't look bad. It's starting to uptrend again. And we just broke this previous supply zone, previous demand, and now we're above it. So now this supply zone turns to demand again. And notice how every time we come in here, we do catch some bounces. So from 71 to 72, 71 to 72. Yeah, 71 to 71.5 really. I'd like to pick up calls down here around this 71.3 with the stop loss right below 71. And this could definitely give us room back up into the 76s. So PayPal looks really, really good for small accounts. I'd definitely pay attention to PayPal. And I don't want to make this video too long, but yeah, that's pretty much what I'm watching, right? Microsoft, PayPal looks good. Narrow it down in the morning. Next week we got earnings. But yeah, with that being said, I'm doing a 7-day free trial. So I'm gonna leave the link in the description. We're also doing a 1K account challenge. So I hope you guys enjoyed the video and let's have a good trading week.